good thing. This is a very important question and issue that we are also trying to tackle. In fact, in the housing approach we have said that all the participating states who will work with us, with this National Mortgage Refinance Corporation, must meet certain criteria. And one of them is the willingness to give titles fast for any housing that is developed. So under that context, we will try to approach this problem that you raised. Actually, one of the developers said to me the other day that the housing they develop, which is not mass housing, it's more on the upper end, but still they didn't have titles, that they've now been told by the FCT that they are going to give titles to the individual townhouses. So I think we can build on that for our mass housing. Our scheme has to work with title. It's one of those criteria that should be met. So for the existing stock, we will talk with the FCT and try and work with you. So please, maybe you can see me later, so that I can point you in the direction, and we'll try to work with you to see if we can get the titling problem solved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think this audience will just release Madam to quickly catch up with our next appointment while we continue on this program. Distinguished audience, please, the rule remains the same. Make your questions very brief. Don't go through protocols. Just let's have your name, your organization, and then the question. There's someone towards the extreme, the man in the gray jacket. You have the microphone? While we wait for the microphone to get to you, Honorable Minister of Works, there is a question here for the Honorable Minister of Works that came in from Omolara from Lagos. Excuse me, please. Babalola Fumilola from Lagos said, you mentioned 2 flagship public-private partnership projects that Nigerians are eager to know how the scheme will facilitate development in the road sector. Sir, you mentioned 2 flagship PPP projects. Is the microphone there now, please? Yes, take it to the gentleman in a gray jacket there. Yes, please. Your name, your organization, and your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Daniel Eke. I'm the president of Transparency Watch Initiative. I have a question for the Minister of Works. First of all, I must commend you for the good works you are doing. And already myself, I've been experiencing it because I travel a lot along roads. So I commend you, and you should keep the work going. The question I have for you, I want your comment on it is, people complain so much about corruption in this country, especially regarding roads or infrastructures, that most of the times our roads, they become bad almost immediately they are constructed. Especially the state governments are guilty of this. And then one have tried to embark on a way of checking this kind of thing happening to make sure that we have roads that last for years before they will deteriorate. And then I even went to your ministry, the legal department, to find out whether there is a kind of guarantee or existing that when roads are constructed, the contractors give guarantees for roads they construct so that it will last, say for 5 or 10 years, whereby within that period they will be maintaining the road. Then thereafter it will be handed over to FEMA.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, so
thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, the microphone in the front here, Dr. Gabriel. Brief, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to make a comment. My name is Dr. Gabriel Nwambu. I represent Center for Credible Leadership. Over the years, since 1914, the rebased GDP of this country has never gone up to over $500 billion. In all sincerity, these things did not just happen by accident. It happened by well-programmed, calculated, administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. And I think, sincerely, if we admit to give this person that has performed creditably well another opportunity for some 4 years again, I think the Nigerian economy will compete favorably with the best economies at the end of the next 4 years.
Thank you
Let's
very
give a
much.
hand of applause to Mr. President.
Thank you very much. The man in the red cap here. There's someone in the red cap. Yes, please. Thank you. Your name and your organization.
Thank you very much. I am Babanagari Suleiman, Center for Peace Project and Development. I like to start by condemning the Yobe attack of yesterday that claimed about over 20 lives. And this is an act that all of us in Nigeria must come together to ensure that we condemn the jailbreak in Kogi State. All of these are things that we believe that are not right in the country, and we must encourage it. Beyond this, I want to say that what we have witnessed here in the last 4 days are just like appraisal of what the former Minister of Information told us at the last end of the year international press conference, where he gave us ministry by ministry, sector by sector breakdown of the achievement of President Goodluck Jonathan. And at that press conference, I remember, he challenged all of us in Nigeria, including the civil society, the press, and even the opposition, that everything he mentioned at that press conference, if you have a contrary, you could come and challenge. And for over 1 month after that press conference, some of us watched and noticed that there was no challenge from the opposition. And some of us took it as a challenge on our part to even undertake some of this assessment. We call on some of our colleagues at different states to find out. And the report we got were that over 80% of what the minister told us at that time were actually correct. And at this point is why I want to actually commend the opposition. Because if the opposition had not put in some pressure on the leadership, probably most of this information here we may not even be aware. So we like to say that, So we like to say that there is the need for the Department of Public Affairs to step up awareness. You could even involve the religious leaders because they have contact with their congregation, so that some of the things that the government is doing, you can get the religious leaders to announce it even in the churches and the mosque. So
thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you bring the microphone to the front here, please? To the front here. Before then, Honorable Minister of Works, there's this question from Adegboyero from Osun State. It talks about the Oshogbo Ilobu Oyo Road. He said the state is in a bad state of repair and needs to be looked into. There's also one from Yusuf Babajide via Twitter handle. It's from Ado Ekiti. He's asking, what are you doing about the Kaba Ekiti Road? The road from Kaba to Ekiti. He wants to know what you're doing about that. Yes, madam. Where's the microphone, please? Okay. They're bringing the microphone here shortly. For the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, there is this question from Wilson Okechukwu. Wilson Okechukwu sent the question via Facebook. He said Nigeria has continued to be a preferred destination for investment in Africa despite security challenges. What exactly is Nigeria doing differently? And then there is another question from Alhaji Badmos from Abuja, also via Facebook, who says, can you give us the 5 big game changers you mentioned in your presentation? He said you mentioned 5 big game changers. Can you please tell us those 5 big changers? The microphone, please.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure who to address this question to, but I'm going to throw it out. Anyway, I was so happy when the Minister for Finance demonstrated with 3 Ks the problems posed by the exponential growth of our population. I had talked about this on the first day of this gathering. It is a major problem. It's not going to go away unless we deal with it. What I'm hoping to hear is some strategy, some policy of how we are going to contend with the population.